Thanks for joining me for Stretch and Breathe this morning. Today we're going to be using a small pillow and a blanket as optional props during class. It'll be possible to do class without it, but if you're interested in using these, then you can pause now and go grab them real quick and then come back and start the video. If you're ready to get started, we'll move these props out to the side. The blanket can be somewhere nearby. The pillow is going to be later when we go into our final resting posture. We're going to find our way onto our backs. So moving your way there now. Lying down on the mat. Soles of the feet are going to be on the floor. Knees up towards the sky. Let your arms rest up overhead. You might find goalpost arms supportive, where your arms are in 90-degree angles, or maybe the arms lengthen a little bit, offering a little more space in the sides of the rib cage and the sides of the body. Letting the feet be wide apart, maybe the knees knock together. This can sometimes offer a little bit more release to the lower back, or you might find it supportive to have your feet together and your knees apart. Or somewhere in between, noticing what offers some ease in the body as we begin our practice today. So take a moment and notice if it feels better for the eyes to be open or closed. And take a really satisfying, nourishing breath here. Inhaling, drawing air all the way into the edges of the torso. And exhaling, softening, releasing onto the earth below. Letting the breath that you draw in feel really nourishing, good, supportive. Taking a moment to arrive here in this moment. Coming home to your body, to your breath. Noticing how you're feeling right now, sensation in the body. Noticing any emotions or thoughts that might be here. Not trying to change anything, just getting curious. As you begin your practice, how are you in this moment? Letting the breath continue to be nourishing, expansive. Breathing into the sides of the ribs and the belly, the chest. And everything softens with each exhale. Taking one hand and place it on your heart, the other hand somewhere on the torso that feels supportive. Eyes can be open or closed. Soften the space between the eyes, behind the eyes, and the skin of the face. Continuing to allow your body to be supported by the surface below. Letting your attention wander through your body, noticing where you're feeling tight and tense, where there might be pockets of discomfort. Not trying to change it or fix it. Getting curious, what parts of your body might you offer some more attention and breath and care to during your practice today? Letting your attention continue to wander through the body. This time noticing where you're feeling at ease, calm, spacious, resilient. Noticing what parts of the body are feeling supported in this moment. And in the next moment, hold all of this at the same time. The discomfort and the ease. The tension, the spaciousness, the restlessness, the calm, everything just as it is. Noticing how holding these opposites affects the body, the mind, allowing yourself to be just as you are. And letting your attention wander down to the space around your heart. Seeing if any kind of intention or heartfelt longing starts to arise to the surface. What was it that brought you to class today? What is it that your body, your mind, your heart is longing for? If it feels supportive, maybe letting this set an intention for your practice today. Something to help bring you home when the mind wanders away, a reminder. Take a deep inhale here, breathe into the belly, the ribs, the chest. Heavy exhale, sigh it out. Another inhale here, let the torso expand and gently press the hands up. Satisfying exhale, sigh it out. Another inhale here. Feel the rib cage expand and stretch in every direction. Heavy exhale, let the hands soften into the torso. We're going to release the hands beside us, blink the eyes open if they're not already, and bring your feet in hip-width distance apart. From here, we're going to take the front of the hips and gently reach them towards the lower ribs. Pressing the lower back into the ground, draw the navel back towards the spine, tailbones reaching towards the heels. Release and soften, maybe a curve comes to the lower back. And again, draw the navel back towards the spine and bring the front of the hips gently towards the lower rib cage, letting the lower back release into the earth. Soften. Exhale, draw the navel back, press the lower back into the ground, and this time hold it here. Starting to generate some heat and energy in the core. From here, we're going to spread our fingers wide, reach them towards our heels, and lift the chest up towards the ceiling. Stay long in the back of the neck and start to notice if there's any shaking or any effort here. We want the shaking to happen. This is on purpose. And lower down. Release the hands. Take a deep inhale here. Exhale, sigh it out. We're going to straighten our right leg. Let the heel hover off the ground. Continue to press the lower back into the ground, front of the hips coming up towards the rib cage. Reach through the heel. Maybe your torso stays on the ground. Maybe you lift the chest up, reaching the hands towards the feet. From here, point the feet away, curl the toes underneath, and then draw the toes back towards the knee. Press through the heel. Point the toes away, curl them underneath, and pull the toes back towards the knee, continuing back and forth, and press the lower back into the ground, generating heat and energy deep in the core, and starting to wake up the ankles, the feet, and the toes. One more time, press the toes away, draw them back, press through the heel, and lower down. Reach the arms overhead, stretch the right leg away from the right arm, and long lengthen through the right side body. Coming back to center, we'll move to the other side. Right foot comes onto the ground, knees up towards the sky. Left leg starts to extend and hover now. Draw the navel back towards the spine, press the lower back into the ground, front of the hips, moving towards the lower rib cage. Maybe the torso rests here. Maybe you lift the chest up towards the sky and reach the hands forward. Long through the back of the neck, and starting to notice how this side feels different. How can you best support yourself here? Pressing the toes away, curling the toes underneath, and then pulling the toes back towards the knee, press through the heel. How can you soften your face, soften your jaw, soften the space between the eyes, the neck, continuing to lengthen as you move the foot back and forth. Slow and steady. One more time, curl the toes under and pull the toes back. And exhale, release, stretch the arms overhead, long stretch through the left side of the body. Left foot and left arm reaching away from each other. Coming back through to center, we're going to press the lower back into the ground, drawing the hips towards the lower rib cage. Lift the chest up, hands come down, or you can continue to let the torso rest on the ground. And maybe your feet come up, shins parallel to the ground. Point and flex the feet several times, slow and steady, and then move the feet around in one direction, toes making circles in one direction, and then the other. Pressing the lower back down, feeling heat and energy, and slowly lower down. Take a big stretch overhead, let the knees drop down to the left, stretch through the right side of the body. Inhale, knees come back up through center, over to the right side, stretch through the left side of the body. Coming back through to center. From here, we're going to lengthen our legs. Press the lower back into the ground, draw the navel back towards the spine, and then let the legs hover. You're welcome to bend your knees like we did before. Chest comes up off the ground. Reach the hands towards the feet. And we're going to point and flex the feet several times. Now move the feet in opposite directions from each other, making circles outward and then inward. Press the lower back into the ground. We're almost there. Reach through the heels, draw the toes back, and exhale, reach down. Lengthen up, big good morning stretch. Toes, hands reach away from each other, and come back to center. Draw the knees in towards the chest, hands behind the thighs, and welcome in some movement that feels good here. You're welcome to continue to point and flex the feet or roll the ankles around. Maybe you gently rock the head left and right if that feels good. Give the lower back some love, the belly, the torso. And from here, we'll start to rock up and down the length of the spine. Several times, something that feels good. And then we're going to rock up into a squat. Might be a little awkward. Maybe your hands help you there the first time. We're going to do that a couple more times. Rock back and rock up into a squat. 2 more times, moving back and moving up. Last time, back and up. And here we're going to stay in our squat. So I'm going to face you so you can see. We want to make sure that the heels are in slightly from the toes, or maybe the feet are, or if the feet feel better in a different way, you can do that. We're pressing into the outer edges of the feet and drawing the knees apart from each other. Lengthening the chest here, let the hands reach down and straighten the legs. Feet are a little bit wider right now. Let the head hang down towards the earth. We're going to bend into the left knee and straighten the right leg. Maybe you stay here. Maybe your left arm reaches and you lengthen through the left side of the body. Next, exhale, draw through center. Bending into the right leg, straightening the left leg. Option to stay at center. Maybe you reach through the right side of the body, drawing the right hip back. Breathing into the right side of the rib cage. Coming back through to center, we'll slowly find our way back down into our squat. When you find your way here, we're going to shift our weight over the heel of the left foot and come up to the toes of the left foot. Taking the right toes out to the side, we're going to gently draw our right knee outward with our right glute. Maybe this right arm offers a little bit of support to lengthen if that feels okay, maybe not. Keeping the spine long and tall. I'm starting to notice what's going on in the left foot right now as it supports you, maybe wiggling and wobbling, working on that ankle mobility and stability. We're going to move to the other side. Maybe your hands come down to support you through the transition. Moving over the right heel. We're going to turn the toes out to the left and lengthen through the left leg now. So your left glute is working to draw the knee out. Maybe that left arm helps to support here. Right hand can be on your leg or maybe down on the ground to help support. Keep the spine long, lift the chest, soften the face. And we're going to move back to center now. This time coming up onto the toes of both of our feet. So we're balancing here. If this doesn't feel supportive for you, you're welcome to come back into a squat with your heels on the ground. Letting the spine be long and tall. Maybe it would be helpful and supportive if the fingers come down to the ground. If they do, draw the shoulder blades together, lift the collarbone so that you're still brought across the chest when the hands are on the ground. From here, you can keep your hands on the ground. Maybe they come to your legs. Maybe they come forward, palms facing down, facing towards each other, whatever feels best for you. We're going to take our right knee and touch it down to the ground. Shifting weight into the left side of the body. Draw the navel back towards the spine and let that movement in the abdomen draw your right knee up. Left knee now drops down to the ground. Lengthen the spine up, lift the roof of the mouth up towards the ceiling. Draw the navel back, left leg comes, right leg comes down. Maybe you stay here, maybe your left arm reaches back behind the body. Your right hand can find its way on one of your legs, on your shoulder, whatever feels supportive. Using your core and the center, come back, and we'll move to the other side. Option here to open up in a twist with your arms on this side of the body. Lengthen here, coming back to center. We're going to do that one more time per side. So deciding what variation feels most supportive for you here. Coming back to center. Last time on this side. Big reach if you're opening up in your twist. We'll come back to center. Let the heels come down, keep the knees bent, and find your way into another forward fold. Knees are bent to support the lower back. And then notice if you'd like your arms to be doing something else. Maybe you can hang out in ragdoll. Maybe you interlace your hands behind your back. Maybe the arms continue to release down towards the ground or rest somewhere on your shins that feel supportive. Draw the navel back towards the spine here. And then maybe bend and straighten your legs a few times, just noticing how that affects sensation in the back and see how you can best support yourself with the bend in the knee. Slow, steady with the breath. Keeping the knees bent, one vertebra at a time. We're going to roll all the way up to standing. Reaching around, taking up as much space as possible on the inhale. Spread the fingers wide. Bring your feet hip-width distance apart underneath the body. And we're going to come up onto our toes. Tuck your tailbone underneath. So draw your navel back and bring the front of your hips towards the rib cage, lengthening through the lower back. It's completely fine to wobble and wiggle and come down to the heels and back up again. We're playing around with balance here. So we want to make sure that we give ourselves a chance to move and fall and try again. That's how we grow and learn. From here, we're going to slowly find our way into that squat on our toes. So we're going to take at least 5 seconds to get there. Begin to bend the knees, navel's drawing back towards the spine. Move the hips back behind you in space. We've got 3 more seconds on the way down. You're almost there. 2, 1. Notice if it feels better for hands to be overhead or maybe at heart center, maybe out in front of you. Find somewhere that the shoulders feel supportive, the neck feels long. We're going to reverse that and come back up again. Navel is drawing back towards the spine. And very slowly, we're going to come up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reach overhead. Let the heels drop down. Draw the toes up towards the knees. Stretch through the toes, through the feet. And let them set gently, soften down. Bring your hands to heart center. Option to close your eyes or let your gaze rest on your fingertips. Taking a moment to check in. Noticing the effects of those exercises on the body. Noticing any heat or energy that's moving around. Noticing if your breath has changed. Noticing sensation in the body, just as it is. Not trying to change anything, just getting curious. How are you in this moment? Welcome in a nourishing inhale here. Satisfying exhale on the way out. Inhale. Take up space. Reach the arms out around you. Sweep them up towards the sky on the inhale. Exhale, open up cactus arms. Spread the fingers wide. Elbows draw down and back. Shoulders are softening down. Reach the roof of the mouth up towards the ceiling. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, right hand behind, left hand forward. If it feels okay on the neck, your gaze is going to follow your right hand, or it'll stay forward for more steadiness. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, left hand behind, right hand forward. Inhale, coming back to center. Bring your hands down to heart center. Look down at your feet and bring your toes together. Sliver between the heels. Draw the navel back towards the spine and sit back into a chair. Let the thighs and the knees help support each other by pressing into each other. Check down, make sure that you can see your toes. Maybe lift your toes up, feeling the weight go into the back of the heels. From here, hands can stay at heart center. Maybe they move forward in line with your shoulders. Maybe they move up, as long as the shoulders don't crank up into the ears. We want a lot of length between our ears and our shoulders. Draw the navel back towards the spine. And bring the front of the hips towards the rib cage, tucking the tailbone, keeping the lower back long and strong. From here, we're going to start to rock forward and backwards. We're turning this into a rocking chair. So coming onto the toes and then back on the heels. Forward on the toes, back on the heels, forward, backwards. A few more times here, just noticing everything that's shaking and wobbling, all the heat and energy we're making in the body. And then we'll let our feet settle, knees stay bent, coming down into a forward fold. And play around. Does it feel better with the knees to stay more bent, more straight? Taking a few moments here, let the head hang down towards the ground. Hands can be supported on the shins, on the ground, somewhere else. Maybe nod your head yes or no. Draw the navel back towards the spine. Sit low into your chair. Sweep the hands up, heart center or somewhere else. And we're going to come back into our chair again. Tuck the tailbone, draw the navel back towards the spine. Lengthen through the neck. Draw the shoulder blades down and back. From here, we're going to come up onto our toes and then reach your hands behind you in airplane arms. Spread the fingers wide, palms facing down towards the ground. Draw the shoulder blades together on the back. Shoulders draw back towards your hips, top of the head reaching forward. Next, inhale, sit back on your feet. Hands come forward. Toes can be up or down. Take a few breaths here in chair. Slowing the breath down wherever possible. Inhale, come back to your airplane arms and up onto your toes. In drinking bird, you can keep your knees bent or maybe play around with straightening them a little bit. Continuing to stay on the toes, spine's parallel with the ground, shoulders draw back. Next, exhale, come back onto the toes, sitting back into chair. Finding a way to support yourself even if you're uncomfortable. When you're in a challenging situation, how might you adjust your breath or maybe your shoulders or your face to find a little more spaciousness and ease in here? Next, inhale, we're going to find our way back into drinking bird on toes. Knees can be bent or straight. Draw the navel back towards the spine. Reach the top of the head forward, hips back. We're here for 5 more seconds. Let the breaths be nourishing, full, and support you as you're moving and generating all this heat and energy in the body. Next, exhale, finding your way into chair. Finding somewhere for the hands to rest that feels supportive. Sitting back a little bit deeper, tuck the tailbone, navel back towards the spine. 5 more seconds here. Slow, steady, smooth. Let the hands come to heart center and find your way into a forward fold. Heel to the feet, hip width distance apart. And take a few breaths here. Knees can be bent, they can be straight. Welcoming in a nourishing, full breath. We're going to bend into the left knee, straighten through the right leg, and maybe your right hand reaches up and over towards the left corner of the mat. Draw the right hip back, breathing into the right side of the ribcage. Releasing back through to center, we'll move to the other side, bend into the right knee, straighten the left leg. Maybe you stay here, maybe you move into that side stretch on this side. Left hip draws back, breathing into the left side of the ribcage. Coming back through to center, bend your knees deeply, draw the navel back towards the spine, 1 vertebra at a time, roll all the way up. Take up as much space as you can as you reach up and over. Let the palms rest together and draw down to your heart. Another moment to check in mountain pose. Letting your gaze soften on your fingertips. Maybe you close your eyes. Soften the skin of the face, the space between the eyes, behind the eyes. Notice the breath as it flows in and out of the body. Not trying to change anything. Just checking in as the body breathes itself after the exercises you just did. What feels different? What feels the same? And how can you continue to listen and support yourself through your practice? To offer your body, your mind, your heart, whatever it needs right now. Take a deep inhale here. Nourishing exhale on the way out. We're going to sweep our hands down, sitting back into our chair. Option to keep your feet hip width distance apart, or if you'd like, you can heel toe your toes back together again. Draw the navel back towards the spine. Let your hands come and rest at heart center. And we're going to shift our weight into our left foot. Option to come to the toes of the right foot, or your shin's going to be parallel to the ground, playing around with balance here. Tuck the tailbone underneath, draw the navel back towards the spine, shoulder blades draw back, lift the chest. From here, we're going to take a big step back. So start to move the hips back behind you. Take a big stretch back with your right foot and let it come down onto the ground. Right knee releases down. Notice if it feels better for your back toes to be tucked or to be released. And this is a great place where you can welcome in that blanket underneath the knee if you'd like some extra support here. We're going to lengthen our spine up. Hands can stay at heart center, or biceps can come next to ears. We're going to come up onto the toes of our left foot. So notice if your knee's caving in, you want to engage your glute, draw the knee out so that you can see your big toe. Left hip's drawing back, right hip forward, and tuck your tailbone underneath. So front of the hips are moving towards the rib cage. Soften the jaw, soften the space between the eyes, and let the right heel release back down. Take an inhale here. Option to keep the right knee down or press back into that left foot and let the knee lift up, coming into crescent lunge. Left hip pulling back, right hip pulling forward. Make sure you can see your big toe. Draw the navel back towards the spine. Tuck the tailbone. Lengthen the spine on the inhale here. Exhale, open twist to the left. Option to look back at your left hand if you'd like to challenge your balance. Forward to your right hand if you'd like more steadiness. Lengthen here on the inhale. Option to stay or exhale, reach up and reverse. Continuing to draw that right hip forward, left hip back, lengthening through the right side of the body, breathing into the right rib cage. Inhale, lengthen here. Exhale, frame the front foot with both hands, step back into a plank. Bend the knees, lift the hips up behind you, finding your way into down dog. Spread the fingers wide. Take your feet as wide as the mat, and then bring them in a few inches closer to the hands, widening and shortening our down dog. You want to press into your hands and press them away from the body, lengthening the chest back towards the thighs. Ears are in line with the biceps. We're going to bend into our left leg and straighten through our right leg. Drawing the right hip behind, reaching through the right side of the body. Slowly moving to center and over to the other side, bend into the right leg, straighten the left leg, draw the left hip back, lengthen through the left side of the body. Coming back through to center. A few breaths here. Welcome in any movement that feels supportive for you right now. Maybe nodding the head yes or no, maybe moving from side to side with your heels, your hips, or maybe staying in stillness, finding support, grounding down into the hands, into the feet. Looking forward, we're going to take our feet between our hands, finding our way into a forward fold. Slow, steady with the breath. Bending the knees, one vertebra at a time, rolling all the way up. Taking up as much space as you can as you sweep the arms up and around on the inhale. Exhale, open up cactus arms. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands come down to heart center. And we'll sit back into chair. Notice if you want your feet to be hip-width distance apart or your toes to be together, sliver between the heels. Draw the hips back. Navel back towards the spine. Tuck the tailbone, keep the lower back safe here. Draw the shoulder blades together, lift the heart. We're going to shift our weight into our right foot this time. Option to come to the toes of the left foot or to bring the shin parallel, balancing on your right foot. Lengthening through the inhale here and the exhale. Slow, steady. We'll start to move back. So left leg is going to extend behind you. Torso's parallel with the ground. Take a big step back. Left knee comes down to the mat this time. Hands can stay at heart center or biceps next to ears. Draw the front of the hips towards the lower rib cage. Right hip back, left hip forward. Check out your knee. Make sure you can see your big toe. From there, come up to the toe of the right foot. Pressing into the ball of the foot, into the toes, noticing any wiggling, wobbling here, lengthening through the spine. Notice how the breath is doing. Is there a way to support yourself here if things are getting challenging? Maybe slow it down for 3 seconds on the inhale or the exhale, 4 seconds, 5. Let the right heel release back down. Lengthen the spine on the inhale. Exhale, open twist to the right this time. Spread the fingers wide. Option to keep your left knee down or lift it up. Notice which one feels better for you on this side of the body. Lengthening through here. Spine opens up. Gaze can be behind or forward. Pressing through the left heel. Right hip moves back. Left hip moves forward. Option to stay here or reverse. Right hand releases. Left hand lengthens up towards the sky. Breathe into the left rib cage, continuing to draw that right hip back, left hip forward. 5 seconds on the inhale here, 5 seconds on the exhale. Let both hands come down and frame the front foot. Stepping back into a plank, finding your way into another down dog. Finding whatever movement feels supportive for you here. You're welcome to take another wide-legged down dog like we did before, or keep your feet closer together. Welcoming in whatever movement feels good. Bending the knees enough so that you can lengthen the spine and let the ears rest between the biceps. Maybe you nod your head yes or no. Draw the navel back towards the spine. Take a deep inhale here. Open mouth, exhale, sigh it out. 2 more like that. Inhale. Open mouth. 1 more inhale. Open, and then find your way down into child's pose. Knees come down, toes come together. Notice if it feels better for knees to be together or apart. And then let your torso rest down. The distance between your knees will change sensation in the lower back and the hips. So finding a variation that feels supportive for you. Let the head release down. Let the palms, the forearms, and the elbows soften. So maybe drawing the elbows back towards the knees a couple of inches to allow the shoulders to release. And let your head rest down. Maybe nod your head yes or no. Massaging the front of the forehead, releasing the neck if that feels good. And take a moment to arrive. Again, another check-in point. Noticing the body, the breath. How are you in this moment? The effects of your practice. Notice the heat and energy swirling around the body. And also notice the resilience, the calm, the ease. Everything just as it is. Breathing into the lower back, the back of the rib cage, between the shoulder blades, feeling the expansion and softening. Breathing into the sides of the body, the sides of the rib cage. And releasing. Breathing into the front of the torso. And softening. And then the entire torso, front, back, sides, all at once, stretching and expanding. And softening again. From here, we're going to tuck our toes underneath. And then sit back onto your heels, curling up the spine. Spending a few breaths here, stretching through the back of the feet. We're going to bring our arms into goalpost arms out to the side. So 90-degree angles, spread the fingers wide, lift the chest up on the inhale. Exhale, draw the elbows and the palms towards each other. Tuck your chin and reach the shoulder blades apart. Inhale, open up, cactus arms, lift the chest. Exhale, draw the hands, the shoulders, tuck the chin. Inhale, open. Exhale. One more time. Inhale, reach. Exhale. And then release down. Shake your arms out. We're almost there. Reach the arms out to the side. Turn the right palm up and turn the left hand back behind. And then we'll move to the other side. Slow and steady into the shoulders. We're almost there. And coming back to center. Come onto your hands and knees. Release the tops of the feet. Spread the fingers wide. And start to draw the navel back towards the spine. As you do that, you notice your tailbone naturally tucks. So again, release. And draw the navel back, front of the hips gently coming towards the rib cage. A few more times here, release the belly. Draw the navel back towards the spine. Several pelvic tilts here for the lower back. Last time for this one. Draw the navel back. And release. Moving into the shoulder blades, keeping your arms straight, draw the shoulder blades together. And then spread them apart by pushing into the ground. Draw the shoulder blades together and spread them apart. Several more times like this. Keeping a micro bend in the elbows, finding some space and movement between the shoulder blades, and then releasing back to a neutral position. And we're going to move through some very intentional, slow cat-cows to work on flexibility in the spine. Draw the navel back towards the spine, tuck the tailbone underneath. Now push the back of the rib cage up towards the ceiling. Spread the shoulder blades apart, press into the hands, and release the head so that the chin tucks in towards the collarbone. Spend a couple rounds of breath here. Press into the tops of the feet, the knees, the hands, arching the spine. And we're going to reverse that. Let the head start to lift. Draw the shoulder blades together. Front of the rib cage stretches down towards the ground. And then move the front of the hips away from the lower rib cage. Finding your way into cow. Drawing the shoulders back towards the hips. A couple of breaths here. Slow, steady. We'll start to move back and forth at least 5 seconds in between. Tucking the tailbone, back of the rib cage, shoulder blades, head releases. And then head, front of the chest, hips reach away from the rib cage. A few more times, maybe you close your eyes, focusing on each vertebra at a time, moving back and forth, pressing away and towards the earth. Working on strengthening and stretching the spine. Coming back to center, finding a neutral posture. From here, we're going to, I'll face you so you can see. We're going to shift our weight into our left hand and reach our right arm up towards the sky. Spread the fingers wide, lengthen across the chest, and draw your right shoulder blade back towards your left shoulder blade. Lengthen on the inhale. Exhale, thread the needle. Right arm underneath, releasing onto your right shoulder, right ear, right palm is facing up towards the sky. From here, you have the option to take your left hand and turn the fingers towards your face and press gently into your left hand to offer a little bit more of a twist here. Different sensation in the shoulders. It's completely optional, only if it feels supportive for you. A few rounds of breath here. Maybe you close your eyes and focus on sensation on the points of the body that are making contact with the floor. And the texture of the breath on the walls of the throat as it moves in and out of the body. Next, inhale, open the eyes if they're not already. Turn the left fingers back forward. Press into the left hand and reach your right arm up overhead again. Coming back down, we'll move to the other side. Shifting your weight into your right hand. Draw the navel back towards the spine and let that start the movement to open your left hand up towards the ceiling. Fingers are spread wide, drawing your left shoulder blade back towards your right shoulder blade, and your hands are still reaching up. Inhale, lengthen here, and exhale, thread the needle on the other side, left shoulder and left ear releasing down this time. This side is different, so notice if there's some adjustments that feel more supportive here. You may turn your right fingers towards your face or find some other way for your right hand to rest that feels like it'll best support you on this side. Notice the sound of the breath as it gently flows in and out of the body. Is there a way that you can make your breath feel more nourishing, more supportive in this posture? Turning the right fingers forward if you were using that variation. Pressing into the right hand, opening up left hand towards the sky again. Bringing your left hand back down and start to welcome in whatever movement feels good in your torso and your tabletop here. So that might be a few more cat-cows, or maybe you bring some circles into your shoulders, your hips, your neck, whatever feels good. Spread the fingers wide, tuck the toes, coming into our last down dog of class. Welcoming in any movement here that feels supportive and good. Slow and steady with the breath. Letting the hands and the feet ground down into the earth, offering support. Let the back of the neck lengthen. Several more deep, nourishing, full breaths here. Whatever movement feels most supportive for you. And then letting the knees release down towards the earth. And we'll find our way onto our backs. Moving the blanket out to the side if you were using it. And slowly lowering down. Soles of the feet on the ground. Feet are hip-width distance apart. Heels are going to come in towards the glutes. We're going to spread our fingers wide, press them down into the earth. From here, lift your right rib cage and roll your right shoulder underneath. Lift your left rib cage, roll your left shoulder underneath. Press into the palms and the backs of the arms. Draw the navel back towards the spine and press the lower back down into the ground, reaching the tailbone towards your heels. And from there, let the hips start to rise up towards the ceiling, keeping the front of the hips in line with the lower rib cage. Gaze is up towards the ceiling, lengthen through the back of the neck. Press the heels down and away from the body, and then release tension in the glutes, letting the hips rise as your shins move forward towards the front of the mat. Soften the skin of the face, the space between the eyes, lift the chin, lift the collarbone. Eyes can be open or closed. And notice the points of the body making contact with the floor. Notice the parts of the body that are powerful and creating heat and energy here and supporting you. And notice the parts of the body that you can soften and release and let go. Finding that balance between being strong and soft at the same time. When you're ready, slowly, one vertebra at a time, release back down towards the earth. Let your arms untuck from underneath the torso if they were there. And the hips release down towards the ground. Bring the soles of the feet apart. Let the knees tick-tock left and right. And then bring the knees in towards the chest. Hands behind the thighs. Maybe gently rock left and right. Offering a massage for the lower back. Release the feet back onto the ground. We're going to find our way onto our stomach. So rolling to the side and finding your way here. Coming up into Sphinx pose. Elbows underneath shoulders, spread the fingers wide. Taking a few breaths here, drawing the elbows down into the mat and back towards the hips, softening in the lower part of the body. Soften the face, lengthen through the back of the neck. Slow and steady with the breath. From here, releasing. And we're going to take our right arm parallel with the front of the mat. Spread the right fingers wide. We're going to roll over onto our right hip. Flex the feet so that you're pressing through the heels. Toes are pulling back towards your knees. And we're going to lengthen our left heel back behind us. So left heel's reaching back. Tuck the tailbone so that the front of the hip is reaching up towards the rib cage and your glute is reaching that left heel back. Option to stay here. Hand can come onto your hip. Left foot can lift if you're looking for some more challenge, or it can release down if you'd like more steadiness. Left hand can come up towards the sky. Or if you'd like a stretch through the left side body, you'll reach that arm overhead and reach the left hand up towards the left corner of your mat. Continuing to lengthen that left hip back. Left heel reaching away from the body, breathing in between the ribs of the left side body. Inhale, coming back through to center. We'll move to the other side. Left arm comes parallel to the mat this time. Spread the fingers wide. Rolling onto the left hip. Both feet are flexed and your right heel's now moving back, tucking the front of the right hip bone towards the rib cage. Different options here. You can let both feet lift, or the left foot can stay down, reaching up, hand on your hip. If you'd like a stretch through the right side body, your right hands reach up towards the top corner of the right mat. Gaze can release down towards the mat, breathing into the right side of the body. Continuing to reach through that right heel. Let your next exhale find you back to the mat again. From here, we're going to take our right hand and forearm parallel to the mat. And we're going to start to reach our left hand forward. Starting to move the right arm away from the body. So I'll face you so you can see what's going on here. So we're looking for a stretch through our shoulder here. And to do that, we're going to reach the elbow away so that our shoulders are parallel. We want to avoid leaning into the right shoulder. So moving the hands away with your fingers until you find a stretch through the right shoulder. And when you're there, let the head release down towards the ground. Letting this be supportive. We're not looking, it should not be painful. So if it feels like there's a lot of pain here, you're welcome to do something else, or maybe try and bring your right elbow back towards center a little bit more. Soften the space between the eyes, behind the eyes. Let the head hang heavy down towards the ground. Slow, steady with the breath. From here, we're going to move into an open twist. So you're going to roll onto your right shoulder. Let your fingers trace the ground open and bend into your left knee. Left shoulder is drawing back towards the earth behind you. Taking a few breaths here into the front of the shoulders, the spine. Slow, steady with the breath. Making any adjustments that would help this feel good in the body, whatever that might be. Slowly coming back to center and finding your way onto the other side. Left hand becomes parallel, right arm reaches forward. Slowly start to crawl that left hand out to the side, keeping the shoulders squared with the mat. Right hand moves forward in a way that feels supportive. When you found your place to settle on this side, your head releases down towards the mat. The mobility in our shoulders is different on each side, so noticing what feels most supportive for you on this side of the body. What variations or adjustments might you bring in to offer more ease and support here? Even in discomfort and tension, notice where there's ease and support in your body. Breathing into the places of tension with your inhale and releasing with the exhale. Next inhale will open up into a twist on this side, so roll onto your left shoulder. Let the right arm sweep up, open, right knee bends. And breathing here for a few moments. We've got different organs on this side of the body, different ranges of motion and mobility in our shoulders, our neck, our hips. Welcoming in any adjustments that would make this feel good on this side of the body. Slow, steady with the breath. Very slowly coming back to center. From here, we're going to take our left hand out to the side. In line with the shoulders, spread the fingers wide. Right hand comes underneath your shoulder, right elbow up towards the sky. Lift your right leg straight up towards the sky and then back behind you, letting the head release down onto the mat. You might keep your right leg bent, or if it feels more supportive, maybe straighten it or let it stack on top of the left leg. If you're looking for a deeper stretch, you might bring your left foot onto the ground as well, both knees pointing up towards the sky. None of these variations are better than, they're all just different options to see what feels most supportive for you today in class. Right hand can rest where it is, or maybe it comes back behind you, releasing the top shoulder. Adjusting wherever you could find more support in your body. 5 seconds on the inhale. 5 seconds on the exhale. Releasing back to center, we'll move to the other side. Very slow, smooth, and steady. There's no rush. In your own time, when you're ready, spread the right fingers out to the side wide, left hand underneath left shoulder. Left leg lifts straight up towards the ceiling and back behind you on this side. Notice how this side feels different. You don't have to do the same thing that you did on the other side. How might you best support yourself on this side of the body? In this moment, listen to what it is that you need to feel most supported. Staying with the breath. 5 seconds on the inhale. 5 seconds on the exhale. Smooth, steady, supportive. Let your next exhale guide you back to center. And from here, we'll find our way back onto our backs again. So if you'd like some tabletop movement or something else to guide you there. As you come back to center, take the feet wide, let the knees tick-tock left and right. Letting this feel like a massage for the lower back, the inner thighs. Let the knees drop down to the left. Take a long stretch through the right side of the body, drawing the right hip away from the right hand. Coming back through to center, let the knees drop over to the right. Lengthening through the left side of the body, left hip drawing away from the left hand. Coming back through to center. Knees in towards the chest, they can be together or wide apart, welcoming in any movement that feels good on the lower back, the hips. Maybe gently rocking the head left and right. And our next posture will be our final resting posture. So if there are any other movements you would like to take to help your practice feel more complete, you're welcome to take those now. You might pause the video and invite in some movements that your body's craving. Whenever you're ready to move towards our final resting posture, you'll grab that pillow that you had earlier, and you're going to place it underneath your knees. Anytime we elevate our knees, it allows our hip flexors and our lower back to release. And then you might take a pillow or another blanket underneath your head, a blanket over the body, just noticing what feels most supportive for you as you find your way towards your final resting posture. Allowing the legs to lengthen, arms to lengthen. And notice if it feels better for your feet to be a little closer together or further apart. Notice if it feels better for your hands to rest beside the body or somewhere on the body that feels comforting. Let the hands and the fingers soften. Notice if it feels more supportive for the eyes to be open or closed. Softening the space between the eyes and behind the eyes, either way. And taking a moment to arrive on your mat. Coming home to your body, to your breath. Noticing the effects of your practice on your body, your mind, your heart. Noticing the vital life force that's pulsing through the body, just as you are. Noticing sensation in the body, not trying to relax anything or change anything. Noticing sensation just as it is. Noticing if there's any tension in the body, allowing it to be here. Notice if it's the same as when we started. Or maybe it's different, a different feeling, a different place. Everything just as it is. Noticing any ease, comfort, calm in the body. Spaciousness, strength, resilience. Noticing if that's any different than when we started. Maybe it's the same. And then holding all of these at the same time. The tension, the ease, the softness, the strength, the discomfort, the calm. Noticing how holding these opposites affects the body, the mind, and allowing everything to be just as it is. Coming home to the breath, noticing the sensation of the breath as the body breathes itself. Notice the temperature of the breath as it flows in and out of the body. taste of the breath. The natural rhythm of the breath flowing in and out as the body breathes itself. Everything just as it is. Noticing if there are any emotions or thoughts that are here. Not trying to change anything. Inviting an open curiosity about what kind of messages they might be here to deliver to you. And then letting your attention wander through the body, notice any felt sensations of ease, comfort, safety, resilience, joy, happiness that might be here. Felt sense of this comfort, this ease, this well-being. Feel an inner smile radiating from your heart, expanding outward through the torso, the arms, the legs, the head. This felt sensation, this knowing that in this moment you're whole, healthy, complete, enough. All that you need is right here with this next inhale and this next exhale. Feeling the nourishing flow of the breath in and out of the body. And starting to invite in a satisfying, deeper breath. Bringing gentle movement back to the ends of the limbs. Maybe gently rocking the head left and right if that feels good. Staying with this felt sense of comfort and ease in the body as you start to reawaken, maybe slowly blinking the eyes open and closed a few times. Breathing in a way that feels good and nourishing and full. Welcoming in any other movements your body's craving right now as you continue to reawaken. You're welcome to continue to rest here in stillness or move in a way that feels good. Or when you're ready, you might roll over to your favorite side, press into your top hand, finding your way up to a comfortable seat. When you arrive there, let your shoulders soften down and back, let the spine be long and tall, maybe something to support you underneath your hips. Take a big good morning stretch, expanding in every direction, reaching the arms up overhead, stretching and lengthening the torso, the sides of the body. The hands and fingers soften together in a gesture of gratitude at your heart, or let them rest anywhere that feels supportive for you right now. Letting your gaze soften on your fingertips, or maybe you close your eyes, a gentle smile on the lips to soften the face. Taking a moment of gratitude, thanking yourself for showing up on your mat this morning, offering yourself this gift of awareness, attention, and self-care. Taking another moment to thank your body for how wonderful and amazing it is, resilient and strong, and everything it does right every day to get you through. We'll close with one last satisfying breath. Inhale, whatever you want this to be. Exhale, let it all go. Thank you for sharing your practice with each other and with me this morning. May you be well and have a wonderful rest of your week.